The Capitol Police have asked for a 60-day extension of the National Guard presence at the U.S. Capitol. The 5,000-member force was set to leave March 12th, but this request would keep them in place through the end of May. And it comes amid continued threats against the Capitol and Congress. We bring in political insider Armstrong Williams now to discuss this and more. And this week, Armstrong, we saw FBI Director Christopher Wray telling Congress that the threats to Congress and members of Congress continue after the January 6th riot. Many local leaders, of course, want to get the Capitol back to normal. But do you think is keeping the Guard in place right now for a couple more months the right thing to do?
Absolutely, unequivocally not. Such a waste of taxpayers' money. They told us that their intelligence revealed that Cunan was going to possibly storm the Capitol again on yesterday. There would be protests and riots. And anybody in their right mind, let me tell you, I literally live 5 seconds from where those cages are. 5 seconds. I can walk there in 5 seconds. And I'm going to tell you, we paraded this place all day yesterday afternoon, and there was no threat for no Cunan. There was no vehicle. There were no protests. There were no gathering. I don't know where Capitol Hill Police is getting its intelligence from. I don't know what they're reporting. I don't know what they're trying to manipulate. But them feeding the media that somehow or another the Capitol was again at threat. I don't know what's going on. It's very misleading. It's very distrusting. And it makes absolutely no sense, especially for someone who lives in this neighborhood 24 hours a day. No, absolutely. There's no need to justify their presence with these cages and this barbed wire where it feels like Washington, D.C. has become some military base.
All right, let's move to the coronavirus now, and there is some positive news this week on that front. President Biden saying that we should have enough supply to vaccinate every American adult by the end of May, so that's good news there. But it comes as the drop in new cases of COVID is leveling off, and there's concern that we might possibly get a fourth wave coming. Now, several states saying they're going to lift their COVID and their mask restrictions. President Biden blasting them, of course. He said now is not the time for Neanderthal thinking. And we heard from Dr. Fauci saying lifting restrictions right now is ill-advised. What do you make of these states defying scientific data, going it their own way on this?
They're not defying scientific data. I mean, this virus has been going on for over a year now. People have lost loved ones. They've watched people get sick. They've had to adjust their lives. They watch their kids suffer not being in school. And so they have learned when to wear masks and when not to wear masks, when to social distance, when not to social distance. And what we forget is when these governors, of Governor Tate of Mississippi, Governor Abbott of Texas, and soon to follow Montana, Iowa, they're speaking for the public. The public gets to decide when we open again. They're speaking and representing the voices of many Americans and businesses that have lost their way of life, lost their income, don't know where the next dollar is coming from. There's been this moratorium on rent and utilities, which is going to change. They're wondering how in God's name am I going to survive and take care of my family? And so they want to get back to work. We've got to trust the people. Some people believe what Patrick Henry once said, give me liberty or give me death. They understand that there are possibilities and consequences. And for us to try to make it seem that these governors are Neanderthal, that means I'm a Neanderthal too. And so are many other people who feel the same way. Yes, give us credit. We understand common sense. We understand the dangers of this, but we're not little children that need to be guided by some big daddy with some big stick telling us what we can and cannot do. Trust the American people. And I think if you trust the American people, you look at Florida, you may criticize Florida all you want, but it's a success story. Look at these draconian policies in New York and California, and it's very destructive. It's not working. So what you have to do is trust the people in their judgment. And sometimes they may not always get it right, but I prefer trusting the people instead of trusting the federal government.
All right. Thank you, Armstrong Williams. And you can watch the Armstrong Williams Show every Saturday morning at 10:30 right here on WJLA 24/7 News.